The best New Year's deals are happening now at Tanger Outlets. Celebrate with up to 70% off savings from Nike Factory Store, Coach, Michael Kors, Under Armour, Polo Ralph Lauren, Kate Spade New York, and so many more. From activewear to accessories, beauty and apparel, find everything you're looking for to kickstart the new year. The clock is ticking. Hurry into Tanger Outlets to save more. Hundreds of brands, unbeatable value. Plan your trip at Tanger.com. The best New Year's deals are happening now at Tanger Outlets. Celebrate with up to 70% off savings from Nike Factory Store, Coach, Michael Kors, Under Armour, Polo Ralph Lauren, Kate Spade New York, and so many more. From activewear to accessories, beauty and apparel, find everything you're looking for to kickstart the new year. The clock is ticking. Hurry into Tanger Outlets to save more. Hundreds of brands, unbeatable value. Plan your trip at Tanger.com.
Thanks for choosing this free Anfield Index podcast. If you'd prefer to listen to this or any of our other shows without adverts, then now's the time to check out Anfield Index Pro. With AI Pro, you can supercharge your entire listening experience. You'll not only get all of our podcasts without the ads, but you'll have them far faster with our Quick Publish feature available exclusively for subscribers. AI Pro also puts you in the heart of our sound studio, with an option to listen to many of our shows live and interact with the podcasters in real time as the shows are recording. Upgrading couldn't be easier. AI Pro is available on all popular podcast platforms. Just head on over to AnfieldIndexPro.com and get started today.
Hello and welcome to the Daily Red, your lunchtime catch-up on all things Liverpool FC and your daily reminder that the Reds are top of the league. The Reds end the year top of the league with a sizable margin over second place Nottingham Forest, 8 points and a game in hand, 9 points clear of Arsenal with the same number of games played, and after last night, 10 points clear of Chelsea with a game in hand, Chelsea losing last night away to Ipswich. It's then 13 points and a game in hand to Newcastle, and 14 with a game in hand to Manchester City. So it's fair to say things have gone very, very well. Now, we come to the end of the calendar year. And in this year, Liverpool played 37 league matches. 19 under Jurgen last season, 18 under Arne this season. We won 26 of them. Jurgen won 12 of 19. Arne has won 14 of 18. We drew 7. Jurgen drew 4. Arne's drawn 3. We lost 4, that would be 3 under Jurgen and 1 under Arne. Now those defeats, away to Arsenal, fair enough. Home to Crystal Palace, not really acceptable. Away to Everton, not really acceptable. And then home to Forest, which massively disappointing. But when you see what they've done in the first half of this season, it doesn't seem nearly as bad now as it did at the time. The draws, obviously this season, we have drawn away to Arsenal, away to Newcastle, and home to Fulham. The Fulham draw is really the most disappointing, but given the context of the game, we take a point. You know, we absolutely take a point. Ultimately, it's the Newcastle one then that stands out as the most disappointing, given the nature of how we coughed up that last gasp equaliser. Last season, there were draws at home to Manchester City, away to Manchester United, that's a disappointment. Away to West Ham, again, a disappointment. And I believe we were ahead in that game as well, and we coughed up a late goal. And then obviously we drew 3-3 at Villa Park, and again, very disappointing. We were 3-1 up with 5 minutes to go and end up drawing that one. But it's 85 points from 37 games. Now, the game we missed, obviously, is Everton away. That's the one that would make up 38 games. But if we go back 38 games, which takes in the Burnley game on Boxing Day last year, and that gives us 88 points over the last 38 games. It's just shy, I think, of title form across an entire season's worth of games, including that disappointing end to the season under Jurgen. You know, right up until we went to Old Trafford on the 7th of April, it felt like we could win the title. In fact, we were on track to win the title. But when we went to Old Trafford, the wheels started to come off. We dropped from first to second, and we never regained first. In our last 8 games, we won only 3 of them, 3 draws, 2 defeats, and we ended up finishing 9 points off top. Now, 88 would have had us third last season. 88 this season probably wins the league. It probably wins the league. For Arsenal to get to 89, let alone 90, they would need to be historically great. And they don't look like becoming historically great anytime soon. They've just lost Bukayo Saka. For Chelsea to get there, they'd need to be unlike anything we've seen outside of City 17-18, Liverpool City 18-19, and and Liverpool 19-20. They need to be one of the 4 best teams ever. They need to jump probably us in 18-19 to track for 90 points. I saw actually Neil Devlin had done a recent update on what it would take to get 90 points from here. And he did this, I believe, before our last game. So this was done 3 days ago. So before our last game, before Chelsea's last game, and Arsenal obviously will play tomorrow. So for us to get to 90 points, we need 2.29 points per game. That's probably about 2.27 now. That's 14 wins, 6 draws, and 1 loss. Now it's 13 wins, 6 draws, and 1 loss, having beaten West Ham. That would get us to 94. Sorry, we're projected right now to get to 94. Arsenal need 2.7 points per game. 17 wins and 3 draws just to get to 90. Just to get to 90. They're currently projected to take 76 points. So they're currently projected to finish 18 points lower than us. So to get to 90, they would need 17 wins and 3 draws. And remember, that's with us dropping off a little bit. If we stay at the same level, we get to 94, and it won't really matter what Arsenal do. Chelsea needed 18 wins, 1 draw, 1 defeat. They lost last night. Chelsea would now need 18 wins and 1 draw to get to 90. So they're not getting it. Chelsea will not get 90 points this year. I don't think there's any chance Arsenal get there. I think Chelsea might scrape 80 if everything goes in their favour. But I think more likely they're on 77, 78 by the end of the season. I could see Arsenal getting 80. And I think anything above that will win the league for us. I just don't think this Arsenal team have it in them to be historically great across half a season. I know they had a really good run in the back half of last season. They just don't feel like the same team. It feels like a lot of teams have figured them out a little bit. They're far more reliant on set pieces again. I know they've scored a bunch of goals recently, but they've beaten up on bad teams. And again, they've just lost Bukayo Saka, potentially for the rest of the season. At least for the next few months. And they've got a hard run of games coming up. Now, they're very fortunate because, as always, they're about to play a team missing everybody. Brentford have 10 players either out or doubtful. And Arsenal fans will tell you that we get lucky because Thomas Souček wasn't available. Mind-blowing. Absolutely mind-blowing. We're in an amazing position here. We really are. We really are. We're tracking to win this league comfortably. And a couple more bad results for both of those teams, and this title's over by mid-February, early March. as long as we hold to the form that we've been displaying. Remember, we've only lost once this season, and it was on the 14th of September. We're unbeaten since. And we don't look like losing, which is more important. Even in the games against Newcastle when we went behind a couple of times, and Fulham when we went behind with 10 men, and then went behind again, we didn't feel like we were going to lose. You always felt like we were going to get something out of the game. We're going into games now believing we're going to win them. And you look at our next run of games, United home, very winnable. Forest away will be tough. But if we go there and beat them and maybe make a bit of a statement with that win, then we go to Brentford, again, a tough place to go. But if we go there and win, then we play Ipswich home, that's very winnable. Away to Bournemouth will be tough. Then we're home for Wolves. Away to City, who knows what they'll be like come then. And then home to Newcastle, a very winnable game, followed by home to Southampton. That takes us to the 8th of March. That's our next 9 games.
The best New Year's deals are happening now at Tanger Outlets. Celebrate with up to 70% off savings from Nike Factory Store, Coach, Michael Kors, Under Armour, Polo Ralph Lauren, Kate Spade New York, and so many more. From activewear to accessories, beauty and apparel. Find everything you're looking for to kickstart the new year. The clock is ticking. Hurry into Tanger Outlets to save more. Hundreds of brands, unbeatable value. Plan your trip at Tanger.com. The best New Year's deals are happening now at Tanger Outlets. Celebrate with up to 70% off savings from Nike Factory Store, Coach, Michael Kors, Under Armour, Polo Ralph Lauren, Kate Spade New York, and so many more. From activewear to accessories, beauty and apparel. Find everything you're looking for to kickstart the new year. The clock is ticking. Hurry into Tanger Outlets to save more. Hundreds of brands, unbeatable value. Plan your trip at Tanger.com.
What are we thinking there? 7 wins, 2 draws, maybe? 7 wins, 2 draws will be 23 more points. Would put us on 68 points. And we would have played 27 games. We'd have 11 games left. Now, the Everton game likely fits in there somewhere. That'll be 10. 10 games. Again, Everton away is winnable. It's a game we should win. So that's 8 wins, 2 draws. Now you're looking at 26 points. Now you're talking about Liverpool being on 71 points with 10 games left. If we're on 71 points with 10 games left, this title is over. Because none of the rest of them will be within 12 to 14 points of us. Because they've got really hard runs coming up as well. This next 10 games, I think, decides the season. I think it decides the title. If we continue to track as we have been, and over our last 10 league matches, we have 7 wins and 3 draws, and that was meant to be the really tough part. This next part is easier. Our last 10 are tough. But this next 10, I think, decides the title. Now, what I will say is, even if the others close, it decides the title for the others, not for us. If we continue to play as we have been, they have no chance. If we drop off a little bit, then it gives them an opportunity, but it's still in our hands. But if we can go out and do the business over the next 10 games, let's say we beat United, we beat Forest, let's say we draw at Brentford, beat Ipswich, beat Bournemouth, beat Wolves, draw away to City, beat Newcastle, beat Southampton, and beat Everton in there. So that's 8 wins, 2 draws. Does anyone think that's unrealistic? Because I certainly don't. I certainly don't think it's unrealistic. I don't see any of these teams beating us. I see a couple that could get draws, Forest, Brentford, Bournemouth, City. But I think we win at least 2 of them. And then our last 10 games is Villa away, Everton home, Fulham away. They're all tough. West Ham home, Leicester away. They're very winnable. Spurs home, very winnable. Our last 4 is tough. Chelsea away, Arsenal home, Brighton away, Palace home. I mean, that is tough. That's a tough end to season. But again, I think if we go out and run through the next 10 games, I think it's over. I don't think any of them have a chance of catching us. Even if we go poorly through the back end of the season, I still think we'll have too much of a lead. Like, I could see us coming out of the next 10 games being 14 clear of Arsenal. Because I think they'll lose a couple more. If we look at their fixtures, and we might as well look at Chelsea's just because they're still technically thereabouts. If we pull up Arsenal and we pull up Chelsea. Right, Chelsea's next 10. Palace away, Bournemouth home, Wolves home, City away, West Ham home, Brighton away, Villa away, Southampton home, Leicester home, and Arsenal away. Is that? That's their 10? Yeah. They're not holding pace with us with that run. I could see them losing at Palace. I could see them losing at City. I think they could drop points at Brighton. I think they'll lose at Villa. I think they'll lose at Arsenal. I think they're gone after the next 10 games. They're not even a consideration. Now, Arsenal, who are better than Chelsea, they go to Brentford. I would have said that's potential to drop points, but Brentford are missing a lot of players. But I think they could drop points at Brighton. Then they go Spurs home, Villa home. I think they drop points in at least one of them. I think they potentially could struggle away to Wolves. City home. Again, very much a potential to drop points. Leicester away is a win. West Ham is a win. Forest away, potential to drop points there. And then Manchester United away, and God knows what they'll be by the time that game comes around. And then that Chelsea game. Again, I think, actually it'd be their next 11 because they've got Brentford tonight. Again, I think that's a situation where they're going to drop points. They'll drop more points than us over the next 10 games. Next 11 games even. But the next 10 games, they'll drop more points than we do. And I think we'll come out of them with 10 games left, and I think we'll be 12 to 14 points ahead of Arsenal, 16 or more ahead of Chelsea, with 10 games to go. We could lose half our games and probably still win the league, as long as we beat them. As long as we beat Arsenal, we could lose half our games and still win the league in the last 10. These next 10 games will decide the title for them. We'll still have a chance even if we have a stumble. But they need everything to go right over the next 10 games. And if it doesn't, they're done and dusted. You can't drop points in more than 10 games. Arsenal are already on 8. Chelsea are already on 9. It's over for them if they drop many more points. It really is. We've only dropped points in 4 games. Everything is coming up roses for us. Wanted to quickly look at some of the better results that we've had this calendar year. So, Premier League first, the 4-0 away to Bournemouth. I think that's one that's absolutely worth reminding ourselves of. It was a great win on the 21st of January. The 4-1 at home to Chelsea, the Conor Bradley game. What a performance. What a performance from the Reds that night. The 4-1 win away to Brentford when Mo came back, it was brilliant. It was a great a great outing for the Reds. Things started to go bad after that, but that was a great win. And I did the 4-2 at home to Spurs. We were unreal for an hour in that game. The last half hour we weren't so good, but the first hour we were great. This season, the 3-0 away to United, the 3-0 at home to Bournemouth, the 2-0 over City, the 6-3 over Spurs, the 5-0 over West Ham. A lot of really good performances in there. Last season in the Cup, obviously we went away to Arsenal in the third round. We hammered Norwich with a reserve team, beat Southampton, and then somehow found ourselves going out to a bad United team. But in the EFL Cup, we went on and won it. We won we won one of the semi-finals and drew the other against Fulham to advance and go through and play Chelsea. And obviously Van Dijk scores the winner. And that was all fantastic. In the Europa League this calendar year, we hammered Sparta Prague in both games before getting demolished by Atalanta. So nothing really to celebrate there. But in the Champions League this year, like going to Milan and winning 3-1, really impressive. Destroying Leverkusen the way we did, sweeping away Real Madrid the way we did. It's all been so good. We've obviously hammered West Ham in the EFL Cup this year. Knocked out Brighton, knocked out Southampton. We'll play Spurs in the semi-final. The EFL Cup has very much been our friend in 2024. And we may be closing in on winning the competition again, which, it's the least important of the four. But it's of the two cups, which are the secondary trophies, it is the one we have the greater affinity for. It's the one we've won 10 times, which is a record, against 8 FA Cups. And it would be nice to get number 11 on the board and potentially then set ourselves up for a treble of EFL Cup, Premier League, and maybe Champions League. We'll see how that goes. It won't be easy, but we're certainly laying down a marker for everybody. This is Anfield, have lots of end of year stuff if you want to check that out. We'll have a look on AnfieldIndex.com and see what's new. We do still, ahead of the United game, need to remember we have 4 players at risk of suspension due to yellow cards because we've only played 18 games and it resets after 19 games. So Alan Hansen has been awarded an MBE for contributions to football and broadcasting. Congrats to him. Gareth Southgate is being knighted for failing, which is a remarkable thing. There's a piece about Costas, there's a couple of pieces about Arne Slot, and there's a tactical breakdown of the West Ham game. Podcast-wise then, there is the new Media Matters with Dave Davis and Lewis, Virgil van Dijk 6.5 Steel. There is the latest Under Pressure with Dan Kennett, Cy Brundish, Phil Barker and Hamza. And then there's a new Scouted, myself and Carl, looking back on football in 2024. So give all of those a listen. Enjoy your New Year's Eve from all of us here at Anfield Index to all of you who every day, every week, tune in and listen to our inane ramblings. Thank you so much for your support through the year. And we hope that you'll be back to join us next year when it'll be the same inane drivel and ramblings from most of us with, a touch of class from Downey, a touch of intelligence from the Under Pressure lads, and a touch of insight from Jan Molby. Take care of yourselves. Enjoy the evening. Bye-bye.
We hope you enjoyed listening to this Anfield Index show. Please be sure to subscribe to our channel so future podcasts find their way to your device automatically. There's nothing quite like fan engagement, and we'd love to know what you think of anything discussed on this show. The best way to get in touch is over on our free Discord community, where both podcasters and listeners debate the hottest LFC topics 24/7. Sign up free now at AnfieldIndex.com/Discord. You won't regret it. You can also follow us on Twitter at Anfield Index and find us on Facebook by searching for Anfield Index. Oh, and before you go, we'd love it if you could leave us a 5-star review on your favourite podcast app. It only takes a couple of seconds, and it means the world to the people who create these free shows.
This podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.
The best New Year's deals are happening now at Tanger Outlets. Celebrate with up to 70% off savings from Nike Factory Store, Coach, Michael Kors, Under Armour, Polo Ralph Lauren, Kate Spade New York, and so many more. From activewear to accessories, beauty and apparel, find everything you're looking for to kickstart the new year. The clock is ticking. Hurry into Tanger Outlets to save more. Hundreds of brands, unbeatable value. Plan your trip at Tanger.com.